We now have a pretty good understanding of what arguments are. Let's spend a little bit more time trying to figure out exactly how one should go about evaluating arguments. And if you notice at the top of the slide, I have evaluating argument, the argument slash dash, reason versus emotion. You're going to see that there's a dichotomy, a separation between evaluating an argument from the perspective of reason versus evaluating an argument from the perspective of emotion. I think we got a sense of that with our first example, but I'm going to spend more time talking about that shortly. Now, you might figure out, how are we going to decide how you should go about evaluating arguments? And perhaps one way of doing that would be to take an example from debates. Debates are something that we have on a regular basis. Certainly have on a national basis. There's a presidential election every 4 years. We usually have some debates associated with it. And what we ought to think about is, how do we score, or how do we evaluate debates? And when you think about it, we have some way of, or at least the pundits, the political commentators have a way of deciding who has won and who's lost. And perhaps it'll help us to take a look at how the experts evaluate the debates. Now, perhaps it'll help us find a good way of evaluating arguments, and perhaps we'll decide that it's a particularly bad way. And I think you're probably going to see that, or I shouldn't say you will see that it's not the right way to evaluate an argument from the perspective of logic and philosophy. But let's now spend a little while looking at some evaluations of debates.